I'm back. If you want to know how the move went, I don't want to talk about it. Just got internet yesterday. All right, so this is a question from, I don't know who. Hi Tabitha, I have a question about recovery which hasn't been addressed yet, I think, and I'd like your opinion about that. When I started my recovery, the nutritional advice I received from the doctor specialist who saw me was very poorly. Actually, they kind of overlooked the nutritional aspect and rather delegated that part of me. Yeah, greatest idea ever. That's why I got stuck in Quasar recovery. During that time, I got more interested in nutrition myself as a way to relearn how to eat. I found out later that it was in fact another way of control and restriction, but I didn't feel confident enough when it came to food portions and eating enough. So I hired the services of several nutritionists, And the reason why I resorted to so many different professionals because I couldn't manage to follow any of their plans, even if they were diet culture approved plans. For some strange reason, I got used to hiring some nutritional service for a few months, then quit, and then a few months later, I'd be looking for a new nutritionist again to start a new plan again, which I wouldn't follow again. Now I look back at those plans, and I cannot help thinking, why the fuck did I spend so much money on them not following them? I mean, I could understand not doing that once, or doing that once and then quitting it as a way to continue restricting, but I did it over and over again until I realized I had to quit cold turkey just as exercise. Is this some sort of OCD behavior too? Am I the only one who spent many as a fool on some meal plans instead of spending that money on yummy and real nutritious food? Thanks for everything, cheers. You're not the only one, that's for sure. So what I see going on there is you want to eat, you did want to eat, and you're afraid. You're afraid of eating too much. That's usually the thing. You're afraid of weight gain, and you've got this idea that if I go and see a nutritionist, I'm going to go and see someone that's going to tell me what the perfect amount to eat is and is going to give me permission to eat. You go and see a nutritionist, they give you a meal plan, but then that fear's still there. So what you're doing every time you go and do that is you're basically seeking permission to eat. And then often what happens is you go and see a nutritionist and they give you a restrictive meal plan, and that didn't really give you the permission to eat that you wanted. It's a reverse thing. You sort of feel, oh, if someone gives me something that's quite diet culture accepted meal plan or quite a sort of small meal plan, I'm going to feel that I'm able to do it. But it doesn't do that, because it just actually reinforces the idea that my hunger is out of control because I actually want to eat so much more than this. And there can be a lot of conflicting emotions going on too, because at the same time you can sort of feel disappointed that you weren't given permission to eat without restriction as much as you want, and told that actually the huge amount that you really want to eat is okay. And at the same time, you could look at that meal plan and feel kind of overwhelmed by it, and no, this is way too much and I couldn't possibly eat that much. In the same person, both of those things can be happening. That's eating disorders, they're messed up. So, but it's a bit like people who watch these YouTube videos just over and over again and then don't actually change their eating habits. They're looking for permission to eat. And permission to eat, for me, I felt gave me a dopamine rush. So the way I used to do that is I used to get on the scale to check that I was still underweight. And my brain would be like, if I know I'm still underweight, then that means I'm just going to get off that scale. I'm going to eat so much food. Of course, it never happened. I got on the scale and I'd had this kind of like dopamine rush of like, I'm still underweight. That means I get to eat more. And then it would not follow through in my actions. And I'd have to get on the scale again the next time I wanted to eat. So it's just like this really short-lived permission thing, which feels really great, but it doesn't follow through in your actions because your fear is so great. So I think that, as you said, what you realized was that you just had to quit that cold turkey, just like exercise. Because I do think that anything that gives us some kind of rush can become, I don't think addictive is the right word, because, addiction is something quite different, I think, but it can become habitual. And habits can be really damn strong and hard to break. So most of you probably know, I really struggle with meal plans. I struggle with anything like that because it's unnatural. It's an unnatural way to eat. And I think that a lot of people are like, oh, it's really helpful to get me started, but it's like, it's a helpful way to get you to eat a bit more in a really fucked up, restrictive, messed up, unnatural way, which is still what an eating disorder is, by the way. So meal plans, if they're just used for a really short term to get you on a stepping stone to eat more and then you get to unrestricted eating, fine, I don't have so much of a problem with that. But I kind of actually have a problem with the whole concept that a meal plan is what is going to get somebody fully recovered, because it's just not. Because that's not how people eat. People do not come out of the womb with a meal plan. We come out of the room with a body that tells us what to eat and how to eat, and we listen to that body. As soon as you go to somebody else, as soon as you go to a nutritionist to tell you how to eat, that relationship that you should have with your body just got cut, severed. And that is what recovery is understanding my body doesn't lie. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. It doesn't even matter what I think. My body is saying eat 10 chocolate cakes today. That's what needs to happen. Body is the best nutritionist you're ever gonna get. All right, hope that helps.